Hello everyone, welcome to this part of the Student Stories Ambassador Interview series. Today we're joined by Jenny, who's going to talk a little bit to us about her journey and her studies here at Brighton. Let's have a look. Hi Jenny, thanks for joining us today. So first of all, Jenny, would you mind just telling us a little bit about you, what you study and what year you're in?
So my name's Jenny and I'm a first year journalism student at the university.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Jenny. How are you finding university so far? Has it been, I know you've started kind of during COVID, haven't you? Have you felt like you've settled in okay?
It's been a little bit of a challenging year and I think it could have gone one of two ways, but actually the support that I've had at the university has been brilliant and I've actually really enjoyed my experience so far and really looking forward to the next 2 years as well.
Fantastic, brilliant. Yeah, and hopefully as things get better, you know, you'll continue to develop and have that great experience. So that's great. Jenny, just to sort of start us off, do you mind just telling us a little bit about your sort of journey to university? So maybe think back to when you were doing even your GCSEs or your A levels and what choices you made to bring you to Brighton.
So actually, I never really realised I wanted to do journalism until relatively recently. So at GCSE, I just noticed that the sort of areas I was thriving at was English. And I thought, OK, well, leading off of that, what A levels can I take that relate to that? And chose language, literature and media studies. Noticed I really enjoyed them and thought, OK, I think I really enjoy education. I really enjoy learning. I think university's for me, but I'm not exactly sure where I want to go. So it was a lot of umming and ahhing. It was a lot of internet research, speaking to friends, saying, looking at like my skill set and looking at what I enjoy. How can I lead on from this? And I found that journalism and writing articles actually really interested me and giving people a voice that they wouldn't necessarily have outside of the media. So basically decided journalism was for me. I spoke to a few people I knew and was told that the NC2J qualification was absolutely vital if you want to be employed as a journalist. You can become a journalist without one, but to get into the industry it is important. Looked at the universities in the area and noticed that Brighton was the best one that had the degree and the qualification and thought, OK, I like the sound of this. And yeah, decided to go to the open day and I was really nervous about the open day because I thought, if I don't like this, I'm not sure what I'm going to do because they've got this brilliant qualification. It's a perfect location for me. Went along and just felt so at home, felt that the lecturers were really knowledgeable, felt that I'd just really enjoy Brighton and I'm really glad I chose it because I am really enjoying it.
Lovely, that's great. I think that's really interesting what you say there about you know, you were doing lots of research and talk about the course itself and the accreditations the course here at Brighton has, but then it's also weighing it up against your skills and what you enjoy because you're going to be at university for quite a while, so it's definitely worth doing something that you're passionate about, certainly.
Definitely.
Do you think you could tell us a little bit more about the course itself? Maybe just talk a little bit about how the course is structured through the years and what sort of things you do.
So yeah, of course, the university there's a journalism and a sport journalism course, and there are a few like overlapping parts. But of course, as you'd imagine in sport journalism, there's a much bigger focus on like reporting, etc. for sport. So for journalism, we have lots of different modules, as with any degree. So at the moment, just to give you like a taste of the kind of thing I'm doing power in the public sphere. We're doing like public affairs, which is learning about like politics and government, which sounds really dry, but it's actually quite interesting. You find out a lot about like how the country works. We have journalism studies, which is looking more closely at what it actually means to be a journalist. And another one is news and ethics. So that's looking at how you can be a journalist and speak about certain issues and certain stories while still remaining moral and ethical. They're also interesting. You get a taste of what it's really like to be a journalist. There's a brilliant newsroom. There's lots of equipment you can use. And it's just fantastic to be able to get a taste of like what it'll actually be like, how it is to report in the 21st century.
Sure, brilliant. And it sounds like you're covering loads of stuff that's really interesting. And that kind of brings me on to my next question. Now, I know you've done you actually do a bit of journalism outside your course, don't you? Which sounds really interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what that involves?
Yeah, so when I first decided I wanted to get into journalism, I thought what better way to sort of learn about it than actually try and get into a newsroom and see what it's all about. So I actually seeked out some work experience at the local paper, which allowed me to go along to the office and not only see how it was all running, but actually get a foot in the door a little bit and meet some of the people. And from that, when the pandemic first began, the editor that I'd sort of been in contact with said, actually, we'd really like to offer you just like a one-off slot on our websites for like the local papers, just writing about your experience as a student, which was in itself a really great opportunity. So I agreed to it, I did it, and he actually said it did really well. Would you like to continue? And I was like, oh, all right, I don't know how much more I'll be able to squeeze out of this, but okay. And a year on, I'm still going. It's just been a really great opportunity. So I really recommend anyone who's getting into journalism, literally just seek out different contacts and just try and get in touch with some people.
Absolutely, yeah, no, that sounds like a really exciting project, and brilliant to kind of do alongside your studies as well, and sort of thinking about where you're going to be headed post graduation. So no, that's brilliant. Just as a final few questions, just to sort of finish off the interview. So I'd just like you maybe just to say just a few bits about why you like Brighton. So not only the university, but also Brighton as a place, and what sort of things do you do outside of your studies, aside your kind of work that you've been doing, that's allowed you to fit in?
I think Brighton is such a hub and it's such a community, and I think everyone who has something to say or is really passionate about something will go to Brighton because it's where your voice is heard. And I think even just the place in itself, like the location, you've got obviously loads of shops, you've got beaches, but you've actually got really nice like little quiet parks that you wouldn't necessarily know about until you became like a member of the community there. And I just, yeah, it's such a great place to go with your friends to study, especially like in the warmer months. And in terms of like society, something that I've actually decided to join is the Christian Union. I think it's really important for me to meet other people who share the same faith as me. And it was just such a great opportunity to be able to meet other Christians, people who think like-minded to me, and they could show me their church as well. And each week we have like meetings, and even though online at the moment is a little bit tricky, you can still meet people, and it's great to know that hopefully in the coming months I'll be able to actually meet them in person. So yeah, it's been a really great opportunity.
Lovely, thanks, Jenny. And just a sort of one final thing to finish up with, really. So, if you could maybe say something to yourself when you were at that stage where you were thinking about university or doing your research, what advice would you give yourself or to other people of the same age who are thinking about university?
I think something that's really important to remember is that university is for absolutely any age, but it is meant for people who have just left college or sixth form. So they're not going to make the process harder than it needs to be because everyone's gone through it before. I remember being terrified about going through student finance and applying to uni, thinking it's going to be so difficult, but actually thousands and thousands of students do it every year with very little issue. And there's so much support and guidance, whether even if you can reach out to the university or within your college or sixth form, to be able to reach out and actually say like, I don't quite understand this. And yeah, it's not as challenging a process as I might have thought it would have been.
Yeah, lovely. No, that's brilliant advice. Thanks, Jenny. It's been really great chatting to you today, and thank you for taking the time to do it. So thanks a lot, and have a nice day.
Thank you.